Play stupid games and you'll win stupid prizes.
The lock and he didn't let it go. Finally he let it go, but yeah, I'm gonna cut him too.
You have to be a special kind of fighter to get banned from the most violent sport in the world. We've prepared 10 interesting stories about fighters permanently banned from the UFC. Subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell because we have a lot more content ready. Without further ado, let's dig in. Jonathan Koppenwehr is a man who managed to single-handedly destroy his prosperous career of 19 matches and 14 wins, all finishes. War Machine brought an arsenal of problems that came crashing down on him. After impressively winning a contract on Ultimate Fighter, the then matchmaker Joe Silva offered Jonathan a match against Brandon Wolf, which he refused regardless of the condition of accepting and fighting or not fighting at all. War Machine accompanied his careless behavior with controversial comments related to the death of former UFC fighter Evan Tanner, due to which he was permanently removed from the UFC roster. War Machine, as someone previously known by the police, focused on collecting felonies and not wins in the cage. His career came to an end when he brutally attacked his ex-girlfriend, after which he was charged with 29 felonies and managed to get a life in prison sentence instead of a championship belt. Talk about mental instability and wasting a promising sports career. Some people really have to learn when enough is enough, and UFC Hall of Famer BJ Penn is one of those people. His flawless career has left a legacy and achievements that hardly any fighter can fathom. However, Penn has a history of alcohol-induced violence. After putting together an incredible losing streak of 7 and completely destroying his record, BJ decided to take the fight outside clubs and bars. In the period from 2015 to 2021, he managed to get arrested for a brawl outside of a bar, domestic violence, fighting a bouncer in front of the strip club, a car accident due to speeding and DUI, and another DUI later. BJ Penn is truly a master at breaking records. In 2019, he was released from UFC with no chance to return after the director saw a video of him being knocked out in one of the bar fights.
Videos.
He won't fight again.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
How
That's a wrap.
Why is this the last straw? I mean,
It's not even that this was the last straw. It's I didn't love him continuing to fight anyway, but when you have the relationship that he and I have, and he's getting me on the phone, you know, begging me for another fight, begging me for another opportunity, it's hard for me to, you know, to turn him down. But after what I saw on that video, BJ needs to, you know, he needs to focus on his personal life and get himself together before he thinks about fighting again.
Have you informed him of that yet?
I haven't personally, but yes, we have as a company. Yes.
I mean, you have about a...
Darrick Minner is an MMA veteran who has had a quality career, but what good is a career like that when you have James Krause as your trainer? The scandal from 2022 is unprecedented and includes a complete disregard for the UFC betting policy. Krause was committed to betting on MMA fights, and he shared his analysis, tips, and fighters-related info on his online community with gamblers like himself. However, questionable dealings surrounding his injury may have kicked up the dust as betting line movements were later linked to Minner's loss after becoming the betting underdog in the final moments before the match. This was taken advantage of by his team, who took good money from the bookmaker by betting against Darrick. The Nevada Athletic Commission, with enough evidence, completely cleared the partners in crime of any contact with the UFC. As the icing on the cake, they were also investigated by the FBI.
Do you know what the outcome of this is? Like, if I penalize them, you get cut. They're gonna go to fucking federal prison. Federal fucking prison.
After winning Ultimate Fighter 14, Diego Brando managed to string together 6 wins and 4 losses in the UFC, but instead of focusing on improving his career, other things took his attention. After losing to Brian Ortega, things went downhill when Diego failed a doping test for marijuana, which earned him a suspension in January 2016. As one thing leads to another later that year, Diego got into a fight with 3 bouncers outside a strip club and later returned with a gun. Brando fled the scene and was taken into custody the next day, where he admitted to possessing the weapon.
Did you have a gun that night?
I do have a gun that night, yeah.
You just want to scare him?
Yeah, eu só não quero, that's all I want to say.
Well, there is something between guys from Jackson Wink MMA Academy and the police officers, that's for sure. Michael Falco appeared for the UFC only once, where he achieved a decision victory against Gerald Harris at UFC 123. His record was impressive, with 26 wins and 3 losses, and at UFC 134, he was supposed to return against Tom Lawler. However, Falco was to be removed from that card due to the demands of the media and fans, but Dana White already did his job and said that he cut him off not even a year after his first performance for the UFC, banning him forever. In 2013, Falco had another situation where he had an altercation with 2 women at a gas station, which later turned into a large-scale problem where he and a fellow fighter were brutally beaten by the guys who were there. As he couldn't get away from the problem, we regret to inform you that in 2022, he was found stabbed to death in front of a cafe in Brazil at the age of 40. A special circle of hell is prepared for people who hold submissions longer than necessary. One of those people is Rousimar Falares, who wanted to break his opponent's legs, not stopping when it was required of him. But he is not the only fighter. Former challenger for the UFC light heavyweight title Renato Sobral had a murder attempt in a bloody fight against David Heath. David bathed in a pool of blood after his face was ripped open in the first round, and Sobral went for multiple submissions on multiple occasions over his wounded opponent. The audience's disappointing reaction was enough, and the fight is definitely not for those with the weak stomach, and the UFC competition is no longer for Renato, who immediately got released. Thiago Silva is another talented MMA fighter who couldn't keep his nose clean. After the fight with Stanislav Nedkin, he failed a doping test when marijuana was found in his blood. Silva admitted and agreed to participate in an approved drug rehab program and served a 6-month suspension. He was allowed to return even after the second slip, but an even bigger problem arose when Silva held a gun in 2014 and accused his wife of hiding another man in the house, and the woman filmed it all. After the footage reached Dana White, he banned Silva from ever stepping into his cage again. Vanderlei Silva has proven to be an aggressive fighter in and out of the cage. It's a shame we never got to see Silva and Chael Sonnen in the octagon after their run on The Ultimate Fighter. However, the only one to blame for that is Vanderlei himself. After he failed to apply to fight in the state of Nevada, he made an even bigger scandal by running away from the USADA drug test. These 2 issues were enough to earn him a lifetime ban from the Nevada State Athletic Commission. After seeing what was happening, Silva apologized, retracted his accusations, and tried to apologize, but still got kicked out from the UFC. It's important to note that this is the 2nd time he has been released from the UFC. To make matters worse, he went to Bellator to finally face Sonnen but lost via decision. The best Chilean MMA fighter Jennifer Gonzalez found herself in a weird and dynamic week, a week during which she arranged her first UFC fight and then got fired without further explanation. According to her, the fault is the misunderstanding with the USADA agent who visited her. Her house and gym are one building with 2 entrances, and when she got home, she found a USADA man in front. She asked for 2 minutes and told them to wait for her in the gym while she pulled the car in, put away the 2 Rottweilers, and changed her clothes, but the USADA agent told her he mustn't lose sight of her. Weird, but okay. Many fighters have already protested the way USADA works and the threat to their privacy. It seems that the USADA agent was acting according to their rules in this way, the rules that Jennifer obviously isn't familiar with, or she just thought it wasn't as strict as it was. Jason High is the BJJ World Champion, but also an MMA fighter who can knock you out or take you to a decision. However, those qualities weren't enough for him to stay in the UFC. After a bad performance, High was released from the company. In 2 years, he strung together 7 consecutive victories and earned a second chance. Although he lost in a comeback match in 2013, he won twice in the same year, and his next and last opponent was Rafael dos Anjos. Jason showed quality resistance, but in the second round he got dropped and fell into an impossible position where he received damage and could not get out, which is why the referee did a good job and stopped the match.
He was cut after shoving the ref. Dos Anjos had peppered Jason High. The ref had to end the fight. High was unhappy with the stoppage and ended up pushing the ref in frustration.
Jason started shouting in anger and then shoved the referee. After Paul Daly, we all know how much Dana White hates these things. Hey guys, thanks for watching and hope you enjoyed it. Comment, like the video, and share it with your friends. Remember to keep your guard up, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.